Hey, it's time for another edition of Why Are You Awake? Paul Farahvar here, your host this week, comedian Ben Noble, one of my favorites, a staple on the Chicago scene. Make sure you follow him on Instagram. He's got a new show coming out at the Lincoln Lodge first of every month. Check that out as well. If you're listening to this podcast, go over and watch it on YouTube. It's fun to watch. It's on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Paul F Comedy. You should be subscribed to my page already by now. Anyway, make sure you follow me on Instagram. Go to my website, Paul F Comedy, for upcoming dates, including I'll be in the Comedy Corner in Minneapolis on April 4th, this Friday. I'll be at Duluth on the 5th and in Janesville at the Comedy Cabin on the 6th of April. That's Sunday. Then I'll be in the DC Loft with Paul Ollinger as part of Two Pauls, One Show in Washington, D.C., April 11th and 12th. And then I'll be in Florida at Chrissy B's on the 18th in Palm Beach and on the 19th in West Palm Beach. I think that's right. Palm Beach. Paul F Comedy has those dates and all the information, including my Boston date coming up on April 27th. Make sure you get tickets. If you know people in those cities, tell them to come check me out. Thank you all who came out to the shows recently in Tampa, Sarasota, all those places, and in Chicago at Stand Up Sit Down. We just ended a show there tonight. It was so fun. Last 2 Mondays of every month. If you're like this podcast, tell people about it. I've kind of kept it under wraps because I'm still trying to figure out what parts I like and all that good stuff. Hopefully you guys like it enough to tell people to subscribe and review it. If you give us a review, I'll give you a free pin, one of these Why Are You Awake pins. So thank you so much. Make sure you follow me on Instagram again and check out our sponsors. Hey gang, as some of you know, I used to be a practicing lawyer in Chicago. I no longer practice, but from time to time, I need a lawyer. And when I need a lawyer, I call my friend Scott Shapiro. Scott Shapiro has been practicing law for over 25 years in Chicago. He does it all, from workers' compensation to personal injury, employment issues, and even entertainment law and contract needs. If you need a lawyer, call my friend Scott. 312-648-8800. That's 312-648-8800. Or you can email him at scott@scottshapirolegal.com. Tell him I sent you. You're welcome. Welcome to another edition of Why Are You Awake? Paul Farahvar here, your host. This week we have one of the greatest comedians, not yet famous here in Chicago, comedian Ben Noble.
Hey, what's up? What's going on, guys?
I was trying to figure out when we first, I think we first started working together at Laugh Factory. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely Laugh Factory.
I don't remember the first time I met you, though.
Really?
Do you remember?
No.
Okay, that's good. That means that we weren't dicks to each other. I just remember I gave you, me, and Amy Shanker did a ride once. We did a show once out on the south side, and I gave you a ride home. And that was like the first time I actually talked to you.
Wow.
10 years ago, at least. See, the thing is at Laugh Factory, there's like cliques.
Right.
Especially back then. The South Siders, the West Siders, or the black comics didn't talk to the North Siders. Mm-hmm. And I was just an old guy that nobody talked to, period. So, like, I didn't get to be... I think it was after COVID, then we all started, like... Also, when newer comics came, then we're like, all right, the only people we know in the room are, like... us, so it's like, all right, we're the old school people, but that's how it went down in my mind.
That's crazy because I have no recollection of that.
Where did you start? Where did you start comedy?
I started comedy at Chicago South Side, but at Jokes and Notes.
So you're a Jokes and Notes
Jokes
guy.
and Notes,
okay.
Jokes and Notes guy.
Yeah, you guys were cliquey.
Yeah. Well, it was because we were at Jokes and Notes for years before we even went up north because we didn't know anything about up north. So It was like, let's do this together. Or we found out about Laugh Factory at the same time. So It was we're going into the wilderness. Like, we don't know what the fuck is up north, but we're going to try it.
Who were your class? Like, who was your class of comics?
My class was like me, Just Niche, T. Murph, Dendrell Scott,
M. Brown,
Yep. So I'm in that recap. M. Brown and Calvin, they're like a year or two, but we're in that same. I'm in that same.
They were after you or before you?
They were after me.
Okay.
No, they were before me.
Jokes and Notes was a comedy club that I was too scared to do. There were a couple times where Calvin's like, just come with us. And I was like, no way. I was just too scared. Because back then I was like, fuck that. I can't pull that shit off. But now I like urban rooms better, I think.
You know what? I think a lot of, just in general, one, I think when you're doing comedy, when you're not in your comfort zone or a crowd the audience that you started with, it's always a little scary. But I think with jokes and notes, the misconception of black crowds in general is that we want to hear this certain type of comedy. But if you're authentically funny and not trying to fake it, those crowds would love you. Like I know some comedians, the whitest comedians and jokes notes, they're like jokes notes favorites.
Right.
Kristen Toomey would kill.
Right.
But she's the same as she would be at Laugh Factory. So it's like if you're just authentically funny.
If I'm doing a room that's a more urban crowd, to so to say, I always tell people don't be self-deprecating. I feel like at least don't start self-deprecating because if they sense any weakness, you're fucked.
Yep. Definitely. That's it right
confidence.
There. Yep. It's all confidence.
So you go up there and be like, I'm single, I'm old. It's like they're like, get the fuck out. You have to earn their trust quick. Like if you're not funny for a minute and a half, they just walk out.
You know what I started
doing?
Not
walk out, but yeah, go ahead.
At Jokes and Notes, I would use my closer as my opener.
Okay.
For that exact reason. I wanted them to instantly.
Right away.
You gotta get and then I'll figure everything else going on in the set.
That's a good move.
First set, the first joke, it has to get them, and it worked. So I would kind of switch. I make my opener my closer.
Okay. When did you start comedy? How many years are you in now?
Started in 2012. So I'm about 13 years in.
Is that when you first did comedy or when you started doing comedy? Because Calvin has a weird way of counting years. He says only start when I'm good. That doesn't then.
I'm 2 years, right? Am I good yet?
3 years in, yeah.
So my first time ever going on stage as a stand-up comedian was 2010.
Okay.
Right after college. But at that point, I was literally doing stand-up once every 90 days.
Yeah.
So the first time I decided to take it seriously was 2012.
Okay.
2010, my very, very, very first time doing open mic was an open mic on Green Street. I don't even remember the name of it anymore. Yep.
That was before my time even.
Okay. Well, yeah. So that was my very first time grabbing the mic and telling jokes on stage. First time saying I'm going to be serious about it was at Jokes and Notes.
What made you start doing stand-up comedy?
Because I've always wanted to do stand-up, even during college. But when I graduated, I was still broke and had no money. And one of my friends was like, Ben, are you still trying to do stand-up comedy? I know of a comedy open mic, and I've never heard of a comedy open mic. So we went, and the comedians on stage, they sucked, but they were getting applause. And I'm thinking the first time I'm on stage, I was supposed to be like Kevin Hart or Cat Williams or whoever. I'm like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be like these guys. So I went home. I Googled, like, what is a joke, how to write a joke. I wrote a 3-minute bit, came back the next week, and I did good enough to want to continue.
And where'd you go to college?
Illinois State.
Okay. And were you a good student or no?
I got my degree. I don't know if that...
Or were you like in high school? Were you like a night owl back then, or were you like...
Oh, yeah. I've always been a night owl.
Okay.
I've always been a night owl. I started off as a night owl, I think, watching Jay Leno as a kid.
Okay.
That was the only way I can stay woke with my mother watching Tonight Show. I remember I can stay up late enough to watch Jay Leno's monologues.
Okay.
I know the show started at 10:30, and his monologues would be, in about 10:45. This is me like in first grade, kindergarten.
No, that's funny you say that, because when I was in grade school, in 7th, 8th grade, I was Johnny Carson. I'm older than you, but I'd get to watch just the monologue, and then my parents would be like, "Go to sleep."
Yeah,
but I got to watch it.
And about that time, it's 10:45, almost 11. Yeah,
so that's late for a kid. Were you in high school? What were you like? Were you like a nerdy kid, or were you? I
was quiet, a little nerdy. So I'm legally blind. If you're not, whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna cover that bullshit in a second.
But but it started in high school. Whatever condition I was diagnosed with was in high school. So I was more awkward trying to deal with that. As a teenager, you're developing the type of person you are. But I get this thing, the doctor's saying you're going blind, and I'm like, I don't know. So I was pretty quiet in college. I mean, in high school, when I wasn't quiet prior.
You started to slowly lose your eyesight in high school?
Yeah, about 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you knew it was coming, and before that, you were still awkward anyway. So you can't blame it on the.
You gotta blame it on something. I ain't blaming it on myself. I wasn't awkward.
How did you find out? We're like playing basketball once, and you got hit with the ball. How did you find out to go to a doctor to figure it out?
One day I woke up and I just had these big blind spots.
Okay.
Yeah, I just went to the doctor. So what's crazy is, I was on the baseball team in high school, and it had the blind spots, but I wasn't blind. It was just, this is going to happen. But I still had 20/20 vision at that moment. So I was still playing sports, still playing baseball. But one day in practice, my coach was hitting the ball to me in the outfield, and I am not seeing the ball at all. And they thought I was playing. I'm not seeing the damn ball. And the coach came out there. The assistant coach hit the ball to him. He caught the ball. Like, why aren't you catching the fucking ball? I'm like, so I'm not seeing the shit. So that's when I really realized, like,
something's
it's happening. Oh, shit.
But before that, did they say that this is going to happen, or you were like, it could happen, or what?
They told me I was supposed to be completely blind by 21. The condition is called sarcoidosis. The doctors say it was like a rare disease, so they didn't really know what to do. Mm-hmm. So nobody knew. So that was kind of the part I was kind of worried about. I didn't know where what was going to happen, if I was going to be blind, if I wasn't going to be able to drive.
Yeah.
Thankfully I was able to drive. I didn't become this blindness, till about 24.
So when you were younger, though, that you got diagnosed with it, but you could see, and it was so rare that they didn't know what was going to happen. Yeah. It's not like the same thing that, who has that condition? Anyone famous have what you have?
Yeah. Bernie Mac.
Oh, okay.
Reggie White from the Packers. Reggie White had it in his heart. Bernie Mac had it in his lungs. I only have it in my eyes.
Okay.
So I think that's more of the rare part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get to, before high school, you were playing baseball, so you were somewhat cool.
Yeah.
Were you good at baseball?
Yeah, I was pretty good.
Come on.
I play for Roseland All Stars. What's up, guys? What's up, Roseland? Shout out Southside Chicago.
So in college, in high school though, then you weren't like a theater kid or anything, like nothing stage related.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
So you were, but did you got good grades in high school then?
Yes.
What'd you get in your ACT?
I think I got a 24.
That's what I got. So you're not that smart.
I mean,
it's good enough.
Yeah, it's good enough.
We're both here.
It's comedy good.
But there's like certain comics that like M. Brown had a 29. Deanna Ortiz had like a 32. Bunch of fucking nerds.
Yeah, down 29.
No, he said he was a genius as a child. We're still questioning, but he's pretty smart.
We'll see.
That became a question now that I ask everyone, because I'm just like, I want to make sure I'm smarter than people.
I'm mad now. Like,
someone recently surprised me.
No, wait, are they really smart, or are they just good test takers?
That's another thing too. Yeah. For M. Brown to get a 29, because back then it was more like culturally hard to get it, because it was like racist against people.
Yeah,
the testing process. Mm-hmm. They've changed it now because of DEI. Thank you. Thanks, Obama. Okay, so in high school though, were you getting in any trouble or anything? Were you drinking or partying back then?
No. I was pretty chill. I was mischievous. I would do like little tricks on people. Like one of the things we used to do, we used to cut off my friends in my neighborhood. We used to cut off the bus of the CTA bus when it was parked, picking up at a bus stop. We'll lift up the back and turn off the bus. It's the battery of the bus is in the back, so we'll turn it off and make the bus driver get off and yell, and people be mad. But we'll do
from the outside.
From the outside.
How did you know to do that?
I don't know. we were smart. That's why.
So that was it. You didn't get any other trouble?
Nah, nothing too.
When did you start drinking then?
17, 18, yeah, right around college, yeah.
What would you guys do like late at night though in high school and stuff, or college?
More in college we would play the game. That's how I was a game head. We play the game.
Video games,
yeah. Play video games, Madden, football.
Yeah.
That was my go-to.
That ruined my law school career.
Yeah, see, goddamn Madden. Really, comedy shows. Like I love stand-up. Like,
to go watch it live?
No.
You just watch it on TV?
Yeah, just online.
Who are you watching?
This is when YouTube was new too. Like Def Comedy Jam. This was the Laugh Up, Jamie Foxx Laugh-A-Palooza.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those type of, the P. Diddy's Bad Boys of Comedy.
Can't say that anymore.
Yeah, I know.
It's funny because you don't have like the style of the Def Comedy Jam comics.
Yeah.
So how did that develop?
That's what I grew up watching, and I didn't. most comedians that I watched was the Def Jam comics, and I felt like it was too many Def Jam comics out. So it's like, why am I trying to? Even though I love it, I didn't want to continue to be the type of comedian that there's 1,000 of those comedians. Yeah.
So you found your voice early on.
Yeah.
Before we get into like now what you're doing in shows, we start doing shows more often now. Right. And I feel like we're very comfortable around each other, and it's fun to watch. I don't know when I started doing this, but it's kind of hacky now to the point where I call you on being blind. Mm-hmm. And it's fun to watch the crowd get uncomfortable with it. I think I do it because I think it's like they want to know because they don't think that you really are blind.
Right.
But you are. Kenan Thompson at that show, that's kind of like put you on the map as, oh, he's that blind comic from Chicago.
Right. Yeah. So I won this event and I was able to perform on Caroline's on Broadway in New York, hosted by Kenan Thompson. Bringing everybody up, come to the stage. But at this time, my girlfriend at that time, I needed help to get to the stage because I usually, before the show starts, I would walk around, get like a blueprint, a mental blueprint to know, okay, 3 steps this way, 7 chairs right here. But I wasn't able to map it out. So I asked my girl to walk me to the stage. Yeah. So as we're walking, Kenan was like, oh, snap, this dude got a pimp. And I was like,
walking you onto the stage.
Yeah, she's walking to the stage. And that's what she's doing. I mean, like, yeah, I'm a pimp. Like, now I'm just playing. I'm legally blind. I just need help to get to the stage. And the crowd went crazy. Like, just off of that, the crowd went crazy. So I just went right into my blind jokes. Because I was going to do a few blind jokes, but I kind of had to do. I kind of had to do them now. Like, they was waiting for us. So it was just, man, just back to back. It just went crazy.
And it popped, yeah.
Went off stage. Roy Wood Jr. gave me his number, and like Michael Che came over and shook my hand. I was like, what the?
He talked about you too, Michael Che. There's like a clip of him talking about you.
He talked about it like a year later. Like, it was stuck in his head. It was that type of night.
Yeah. And yet you're still here with me with
Paul. Yeah.
You couldn't take advantage.
That comedy, I like this. Yeah, but it was a good moment.
Yeah, we did shows where you did my show a couple times now, right? At Stand Up Sit Down. You did it. And both times the clips are fucking hilarious because I just think that it's like we have a good rapport and people have fun because they're like, okay, we're both being authentic. We both like each other, and it's.
Well, I don't really like you.
Well, right, but that's the whole thing too.
It's for the money.
It's there's so much money in this podcast. You got like free tea with some bourbon in it from fucking 87. But I think also, and Abby and I talked about this too, like we make fun of each people that we like. And I think that the younger generation, they don't understand that. Like if you make fun of someone, I've seen people like shit on each other at the comic club. We give each other shit. But if you do it to a younger comic, sometimes like, what? I think he hates me. And you're like, no, that's we like you.
Yeah. If we don't talk about you, that's when you should worry.
Yeah. How did that start?
With me and you,
I do just it too. In general, I guess.
I don't know. I don't know. I think we all just little assholes a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think it's like a connection. Like, oh, you an asshole too. Okay. And then that builds the bond.
It's a generational thing too, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that too.
Did you really like that in high school? Like my friends and I were so mean to each other in high school. Like the shit that you say to those people would fucking diet if you were like heavy, like you wouldn't eat for 3 days. You probably started, I don't know, plastic surgery, fucking like bulimia, all this shit. I mean, you can't do that now.
Nah. Yeah, we will roast. Like at lunchtime, we would just roast all day. Just talk about everybody. Like that was the bond. Like, oh, it's time to roast. And then how are we friends that I'm talking about you, talking about your mom, whatever the worst things you get on, we talking about it, pointing at it. Hey, look at them tight ass pants he got on. And but it's supposed to be my best friend. Like, what the fuck? Like,
I mean, Abby Sanchez makes fun of my shoelaces being long. and now it's all I think about when I'm tying my shoes. It still fucking hurts. I don't know what it is, but sometimes it comes from a place of bullying. Like if people were bullied and now they finally have the power and they can bully other people. But I don't think that's what.
I don't think that's it. No. I wasn't really bullied.
Yeah.
I don't think I was ever really.
I don't think I was either. I think I was when I was a kid, but none.
Only people that bullied me was my family, my cousins, like my older cousins and older family members. But I wasn't really bullied in school. I don't know. I think it just came from, and my family is funny. I meant to say this. My family is hilarious.
Who in your family?
Everybody. Like, I brought my girl around, and she doesn't care. She just like whatever event, she just wants to go because everybody's my mother, my auntie, my cousins, my brothers. Like, I'm the quietest in my family.
Well, you're also quiet too. I think comics are. You weren't a class clown or anything like that. No. I feel like comics who do stand up are not the class clown. They're usually like the person that's like paying attention, mentally keeping track of what's happening.
Yeah, I agree. So,
unless you're like a goofball on stage, which I don't. That's not really my thing. You're in college. You decide you want to try comedy. And you'd never been on a stage for anything before?
And grandma's, let's say, 5th grade.
Are you talking about plays and shit that we all had to do?
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't count.
I mean, I was the main character.
Who were you?
It was a book called Tiki Tiki Timbo about the Asian kid that fell in the well.
The what fell in the well?
The Asian kid that fell in the well.
You were the Asian kid?
I was the Asian kid that fell in the well.
That's fucking racist shit.
I mean, it wasn't no Asian kids in the school.
Wait, it's called what?
It was called Tiki Tiki Timbo. No Saw Rimbo. Ikana Nu Na Kanaran Tambo. Why do I still remember that? I don't know.
I still remember.
That's crazy.
I played the cornet for maybe 4 months, and I still remember the fingering on the cornet for the one song Safari. And I wish I didn't, because it's the only thing I know. But let's not divert from this fucking racist play that you guys had.
It's not racist, okay? It was the theme.
Did you dress as an Asian?
No, I don't. You know,
is
that
there going to be someone in? Is there going to be pictures of you in Asian face that are going to get you canceled?
Listen, I was 7. I had no control over it.
Tiki Tiki Timbo also sounds a little racy too.
Yeah, I mean, this was.
Who wrote this play?
This was 1993. This is 1993.
Was it written by an Asian person?
I hope so. I hope so.
This is it was written by like
the more you
two black guys in Chicago. They're like, all right, this kid's gonna fall in a well because they have wells in China. Anyway, so you became the star of this show.
Shit. Yeah. The more you talk about this, the more racist it is. I never realized.
If we find pictures of you like doing anything
I hope it's no pictures.
You're not wearing like the traditional Chinese hat.
No.
Okay.
Ooh, no. I don't. No, we wasn't. No.
Were you like, this is where I belong?
Yeah, from in a well. Okay. The way you should have saw how I fell in the well. It was Oscar worthy. It was like this is.
You had lines and shit.
I had yeah.
How many lines?
I don't know, but I had lines from the beginning to the end.
Is there video of this?
Not at all.
Okay.
It was 1997, 94.
Okay, there was video cameras in the 60s.
I mean, who keeps child's
I've got fucking me doing the Super Bowl shuffle. That's how old I am.
You get it right now?
No, I can't find it, but it's pretty bad. I was Walter Payton and Jim McMahon.
That's racist. You was Walter Payton?
No, I didn't fucking change my color.
I didn't change my color. Tiki Timbo.
You said you weren't sure when I asked. Anyway, so you did that in 5th grade. So that was your only time on a stage, and then you go and do an open mic.
Yes.
The first time you did it, in your mind, you probably crushed.
Yeah, I did better than I expected. I remember I was telling myself, if I bomb, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah.
And I did enough to not bomb.
And then the second time you bombed.
The third time I bombed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's usually the second or third time.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people bomb? They crush their first open mic, then they bomb the second or third, and then they never try it again.
Wow.
You have to be crazy to come from that and be like, I want to try it again. Yeah. And that's what's wrong with all of us.
All of it. That's what made me realize I really want to do this is after a bomb. I bombed and I said, I still want to do this. Yeah. Even though it felt terrible. I still want to do this again. I still want to do stand-up comedy. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do this shit for the rest of my life. That's crazy.
You knew that?
I knew that. Yeah.
So what's the steps after that? When did you find out about Jokes and Notes?
So I've always knew about Jokes and Notes.
Okay.
It's a staple in the area. So I already knew about it.
Is it close to where you grew up?
Yes.
Okay.
2010 is when I first went on stage, but when I started taking it seriously, I didn't understand the process of how to get into clubs or Jokes and Notes. And as you remember, a Jokes and Notes on Wednesday was the open mic night.
Yeah.
You go sign up on the list.
And
you
Mary
sign
Ellen would decide who goes up.
Yeah, and then you sign up for like 6 weeks straight and don't get put on, and you finally get put on. Making sure do not bomb, because if you're going to bomb, don't bomb at Jokes and Notes. I will say I've never bombed at Jokes and Notes.
And it's crowded, right?
100+ non-comedian.
Right.
Yeah.
She would pick you. There would be a line of people. Mary Ellen would just decide who's going up, like right before the show, right?
Well, during the show.
Oh,
it is a list. It is a list. They're going through the list, but it's based off the show. Like if they'll put up whoever on the list, but if they suck, they're going to throw on, okay, Lil Real, you're going next.
Right.
Or, yeah. So it's based on how the show was going.
And did she cut you if you were bombing? Like, or
Not if you're bombing, but 3 minutes. If you get that light, if you go past that 3 minutes, they turn on the music.
Did they ever cut people off early?
Oh, no.
You still do your time.
You still do your time
you're eating it. Okay.
Because whoever's hosting is going to talk about you for another 3 minutes.
Okay.
When I first started, M Dubs was the host. Yeah, I've seen people like get off stage and he's roasting them. They just walk out the building because they bomb. And then now the crowd is dying laughing off everything, how terrible you just were. Yeah, so people
I miss those days.
Yeah.
I used to host the open mic at Laugh Factory, and I was never really mean, but you could tell some people that they were just doing it as a bucket list thing, and I would be mean to them.
Yeah,
but it was fun hosting that.
I got a story when I used to host the Revival Theater open mic.
Yeah,
and people see the cane, right? And they think that's like an easy joke. I brought him up. He said jokes about me. It didn't hit. When I got back on, I talked about him, right? Roast him really, really bad. But we did a show together. He was like, Ben, when you roasted me, I stopped doing comedy for 3 months.
It affects people, man.
Yeah, but he thanked me because he said you made me write better.
Even if the comics don't think you're doing well, if the crowd likes the host and you try to rip on the host, it never goes well.
Never works. Yeah,
it never goes well. So you're doing Revival. And how fast did you start hosting that Revival thing after Jokes and Notes?
5-6 years in.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was later then.
Yeah.
So let's go back to Jokes and Notes then. You said you never bombed there?
No.
And then you became one of her favorites,
yes.
I feel like.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Why?
No, I don't know. I know, her daughter used to work there too.
Okay.
And
Mary Ellen is a staple of the comedy community in Chicago.
I was always her daughter's like tops in the city.
Yeah.
So she's talking like it was her daughter that like really wanted me. So I got to feature really fast.
A lot of the people come on at Jokes and Notes have stage names. Did you ever try to change your name? Is your name really Ben Noble?
Ben is my real nickname. Everybody since I've been born been calling me Ben.
What's your real first name?
Brendan.
Oh, it's not that bad.
Yeah. Well, it's just people never.
You don't look like a Brendan.
Yeah.
Brendan?
Brendan.
That's a very Nebraska white name. Brendan?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anyone I know named Brendan that's not. Brendan Walsh is the first person that comes to name from 90210.
Oh, Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser, too.
But I mean,
are there any black people named Brendan?
No, I don't think so. Ben is my initials. So.
Ben. So Noble is your real last name.
Yes.
So what I was getting at, people would come out of there and they come to Laugh Factory and they all had weird stage names. Did you ever think of changing your name to like something like that?
I did. Actually.
Or did you have a stage name for a while?
For my first 2 shows, my name was Big Ben.
Big Ben. Well, that's not that.
It's not bad, yeah, but it's Big Ben.
Did you ever have a comedian in front of your name?
Hell no. No disrespect, but no. But it comes from the hip hop culture.
Yeah.
It is. It's like a rapping name.
Yeah.
So I think that's really what it is.
What big comic has a nickname that's stuck? Exactly.
Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, but that sounds like a real name.
name.
But like people are like, I don't want to say the names because I don't want to get beat up.
Yeah.
But like they're like,
I get
Slim Dom. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah. I think it's changed to the generation. It's like, okay, with Def Comedy Jam, it was a lot of that. It was those hamburger and Shuggy Duggy. Hamburger. Shuggy Duggy, quack, quack. Them legends, man. So it's like, we growing up watching Def Comedy Jam, we just thought that was what you're supposed to do.
The comics that did that I don't want to stereotype it, but they also would do like have big intros. I did a show recently. The guy came up and sang his walk-up song for at least 30 seconds. And we were in the back. I remember I would do riddles, and all the comics would have this huge intro. Now you're building yourself up even. Does that make it worse? Like,
no, I think is.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I think it's kind of something that we were getting at earlier about authentic and just being. I think people really having fun on stage. It may be taken away from the stand up, but they are building themselves up to have fun and we're trying to bring the crowd in. Again, we are waiting for jokes, but it's fun.
This comic didn't do well after that, but he to the credit of the comic, the crowd was getting into the rapping portion of the show. But I was like, I didn't know. But
I haven't seen it in a while though.
I do remember like the intros at the open mic at Riddles. I went and did it a couple times during COVID, and the intros were like, I'm like, is this going into their set? We're all doing fucking 4 minutes, right? Like, I'm like, well, I don't have that. And sometimes you do those rooms, even at House of Blues too. Sometimes they keep playing it and they're waiting for you to cut the.
Yeah.
And I forgot that. I'm like, I'm touching the fucking mic. You think I'm going to start singing fucking?
You never know.
Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was weird. But what were we talking? Oh, anyway, how did you end up at the Laugh Factory?
I'm seeing other comedians from Jokes and Notes doing shows up north. I think the first was like Calvin and Dave Helium.
Oh yeah.
And I was wondering, like, okay, what are they doing to get more shows? Because there's not many shows in the South Side. There's Jokes and Notes, and that's really it. And even like the open mics, you go Google or look for where open mics, everything was up north. So I had to figure out a way. How do I start doing shows up north? And the first thing was Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
Figure out Laugh Factory. And you try to learn their process and what are the steps. And
what was your steps to get in there?
Like you'll get to the end of getting passed and then they have a new manager.
How did you get into the other places? Zany's too, right?
Yeah, Zany's. So Zany's, that was an interesting story too. Because with Zany's, you would have to do the showcase in Rosemont.
Oh, okay. So you did it after you were doing it with Cindy.
With Cindy and Rosemont. Yeah. So, man, I did the showcase just once. It was so crazy because the time that I went, it was during Christmas break, I guess. So it was packed out. I had some people, and I almost had like a standing ovation. It was crazy. And
she just booked you right there.
She booked me right there. And that's how good that one set was. And it was like, you ever had a set so good, you like, okay, that joke wasn't that good. Y'all laughing too much.
Yeah, the crowd's too easy.
Man, it was so easy.
But Cindy was really good about it. You get past there.
Yeah, so with that, Cindy sent me over to Zany's in Old Town. And Bert loved me too.
Yeah.
I went, did opened up, did an opener, open for somebody, and then I did a co-feature. Then he let me feature all the way through, and I was just featuring. At one point, I was featuring several times a month for a while. Yeah, at one point, I was there a lot.
So now you've been doing comedy for 13 years. Let's talk about your shows now. So after you do shows, let's say we just did a show together at Laugh Factory. It's like, what are you doing after your shows?
I'm going back home.
Yeah.
I'm going back home. I'm either working on some jokes.
You
a lot
work
of time
at night. You're creative.
Oh, my creative just flow.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
At night or when I'm at work, but mostly at night.
We'll cut that part out. What? I mean, obviously after a show, you can't go to sleep. You've got adrenaline, especially if you had a good show.
Right.
You listen. What do you do? Listen to your sets and shit?
I don't listen to my set. I think of things that I should have said or what I could have made better.
How do you do that if you're not listening to your set? I just
remember like, oh, when this happened, I should have did this, or I have we have our set jokes, but it's a lot of riffing in between, or what I just think of ways that I could have bettered that set, regardless of how well the set went, and I just write it down.
You write with a pen and paper?
No, I write in my notes.
Okay.
On my phone. I did have a pen gesture in my hand.
Yeah, that's just some people do. I still write. I do both on notes and stuff. Do you ever listen to your sets? Do you record your sets?
I don't listen to it audioly, but yeah, sometimes about half the times I record myself, but I just hate listening to myself.
Yeah, but it's the way.
I know you have to. I do, but not. I probably should do it more. But again,
Just
most of the
take
time,
it on your fucking phone. You record. You just push voice
yeah.
memos. Yeah. Is that how you know when to get off stage too?
yeah. I have one to get off stage. You know, they usually
So
get
people know, we get a light to when we're getting off stage, and Ben is allegedly blind, so so sometimes it's kind of fun. But I know that you keep your own time. What do you got, like a buzzer or something?
Yeah, I have a timer. I set the timer for like a minute left. So
Okay.
if I'm doing 10 minutes, I just set it for 9 minutes and then it'll vibrate in my pocket. Or sometimes, like at Laugh Factory, I'll tell the DJ to give me an audio cue where they'll hit the mic 3 times.
Oh, you can hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Sometimes I just tell people just yell light so I can know I have a minute left. So just yell it.
Is your sense of audio is way better then? Is that true when you lose your sight?
Hell no. You just kind
sense of smell gets better?
No, you just rely on your senses better. But I still can't hear shit. What?
I think it's almost a benefit too, because you can't, as a comedian, I'm always focusing on the one person that's not laughing. It looks like they're not having fun. You don't have to worry about that.
Yep. That's definitely an advantage. That's real. That's definitely an advantage. I don't know anybody's facial expression, so I just say my jokes how I want to say them.
You can still see some things, right? You can see. You explained this on the show we did together recently. You can see that in your peripheral. Right?
I see my peripheral. So I mean, I see my peripheral, but my peripheral is just better than my other.
Okay.
Sight. It's not 20/20. I just say it in my jokes. But when I'm on stage, you know, it's dark. The spotlight is on you.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it's hard for anybody to see the crowd.
Yeah, certain clubs like at in Oak Park, I don't know if you've done that room, that the lights are so bright on you, which I like. Mm-hmm. You can't see even the front row.
Okay. So yeah. So
you can't see it at all.
That's me, that's me with the lights on.
That's how, but I also like that in a way because it prevents you from what I call a crutch of doing crowd work. Because like if you can't see people, you're like, all right, if you're a crowd work comic, you're fucked.
Yeah. You know, that's kind of one of my, like, I can do crowd work, but it's hard for me because I can't see the crowd.
You don't know who you're talking to, but you can hear a voice.
Yeah. So I just.
But that's sometimes with everybody. Sometimes people in the back, I'll be like, where are you from? And they'll say it. So
yeah.
Stop using that as an excuse.
I mean, you know. Yeah. Well, I guess not. In my mind, I guess I'm thinking more of hecklers.
Oh, right.
When you have a heckler, do you talk about what they have on or?
No, I look at. You're right. I do look at them and see what they're saying. Yeah, you're right. I do have that advantage. I could see and I'll try to find something to make fun of them. Yeah. But usually they say something stupid. And you're just like, what? You have a day job though now. I have a day job. Yeah. So how are you staying up late now, or what's your hours these days?
Man, I go to sleep about midnight. Between midnight and 1 and 12:30. And
you have to wake up early?
I gotta be at work at 8:30. Just on a normal. So, but there's been times where I don't go to sleep till 2.
What about on the weekends? If you don't have to wake up for work, what time are you waking up?
Whenever nature makes me go to sleep, it's just I'll just be sitting in my bed till 4 a.m. sometimes. It's just.
Do you wake up automatically in the morning because of your hours?
Yeah, I always wake up around the same time.
Really?
Regardless.
Then how do you make up your sleep?
I go back to sleep doing it. I take naps. I'm a nap guy.
Do you ever go out after your shows and go party with either other comedians or the crowd, or the staff?
I rarely do that. Very rarely.
Did you ever do it before?
No. I just like to do my jokes and take my ass home.
Do you get approached after shows with women?
Yeah. Oh yeah. All the time.
Why are they approaching you?
The blindness. They wanna see. You know, I got the jokes about the boobs.
Yeah.
I get that all the time and feel my wrist and, you know, I'm in your peripheral, how I look. And, you know, I crack jokes with them. And hey, we're going to this bar. What else?
Right.
Yeah. So it starts off with them talking about some of the blind jokes. And it seems like they're interested and want to know more.
So it's like out of curiosity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did it work to your advantage ever?
No, I'm not. No. I don't like doing anything with business. I mean, like
that's a smart move.
Yeah, I don't want you fall in love now. You stalking my shows and keep that separate.
You did the Singles Only podcast years ago too, man. I forgot to look up which episode you did. I used to tell comics not to do that, and more importantly, not to hook up with other comedians.
Yeah.
And they fucking never listen.
Yeah.
You're dating someone now?
Yeah, I'm with someone.
Is that because of my podcast?
Maybe. Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah.
Wait, I'm going to find the episode that you were on.
Man, she heard me on your podcast, and that's how we met.
Yeah, what did you say on there?
I have no idea.
It's funny. Someone was asking me about the podcast. Why'd you stop that? I'm like, man, I did 400 episodes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forgot when people did the podcast.
Yeah, you did a lot of those.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a good podcast. Did you even drink your fucking tea?
I took a few sips. I'm gonna drink it out before.
I'm gonna watch you spill this shit. Look at that. He got it on one grab.
That's really why I was scared to drink.
Here, spill. This is gonna be the clip. You just drinking to prove that. With your condition, is it going to get worse still, they said, or they don't know? Or is this it?
It's a possibility. It's a high possibility.
Has it gotten worse in the last 5 years?
Yes.
So how can it get worse?
If the sarcoidosis can flare up, so it's currently in remission. So let's stop back over. I have sarcoidosis, which is an autoimmune condition. So it can flare up and it can affect other organs. It can be in my liver.
You got to watch it. You got to monitor it.
Yeah, monitor. Yeah.
So it's in remission now.
Right. So
that's
as long as it's in remission, my vision is stable, and that's the goal. Is for it to stay stable, and everything's been good. But it's just something totally different. It had nothing to do with the sarcoid. But last year, I had a torn retina, and I was off work for eight weeks.
How'd you tear your retina?
I don't know what happened. One day I woke up and I was seeing I don't know how to explain, puddles in my eye.
One eye?
In my left eye, yeah. And had a bruise on my eyelid. But it wasn't an injury. I didn't do anything. And waited 2 days, and I went to the doctor. They said, you have a torn retina. You have to do surgery right now, or you're going to go completely blind. And you're going to be off work.
And they fixed it?
They fixed it.
And now it's back to
the regular blind.
Unleaded. But other than that, it's been steady.
It's been steady. Yeah.
So, but that's a good sign.
Yeah. I'm so used to this now. It's normal life to me. As long as it doesn't get any worse, I'm okay. Yeah. I'm okay. I'm at a great space. So.
Well, what if it got what if it all went away? Then you'd just be a regular comic.
I'd be man, shit. Now I know.
That's 30% of your
jokes. I gotta write these.
That's why I stay single, because I'm fuck. I gotta write a whole new hour. You need to stay.
I gotta drive to my shows now. Damn.
I bet you could probably just, if you got better, just be just don't tell anybody.
Don't tell nobody. Yeah,
it's gonna affect your bookings.
I really gotta fake it. When people think you be thinking I be bullshit, I really gotta bullshit. Hey.
What do I know, man?
Now, you know a lot.
I fucking these degrees up here. Fucking lawyer and shit with a 24 on my ACT.
Hey, I could have been a lawyer. That's crazy.
That's not true. Don't say that. We'll cut that out. Ben, where can people find out about you? And you got an upcoming show coming up too? Yeah,
man. You can follow me on all social media at Ben So Funny. BN So Funny. I'm starting a monthly show at the Lincoln Lodge. It's gonna be called Damn Near Famous, every first Wednesday of the month, starting in May.
Thank you for doing the podcast, and sorry I kept you up late.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
You're going to be up anyway. Thank you all for watching or listening to another edition of Why Are You Awake? Go to sleep.